Welcome back to the Cricket Matters podcast. Today we are talking about online cricket coaching, the benefits, the challenges, and the hybrid solution. So, James, we have obviously been doing online coaching for a number of years now, but would you say when cricketers think of coaching, probably the last place they'll think of is online coaching, right?
Absolutely. So the default method when you think about cricket coaching is one-to-one training. You pay a coach, you go and see them for an hour in the nets, you get their technical advice, they do some hands-on work with you, and that's it. You go away, you maybe have another session next week or the week after, maybe you don't have another session for a few months, or even ever again. It all depends. But it's like, we said this back in 2015 when we kind of changed how online personal training is. Now, online personal training today is worldwide. It's huge, mostly because of post-pandemic COVID, right? But we've been doing this since 2015, and we've been going around the world teaching personal trainers how to deliver online coaching. So we're coming into the world of cricket coaching, and what we're seeing is like it was in personal training 15 years ago. It's almost in the dark ages.
Because that was the model, wasn't it? That was the model in personal training generally. You had one-to-one PT sessions. You saw your coach maybe 1, 2 or 3 times a week, depending on your budget, of course. And then, you didn't see them for another week or so and probably didn't have a lot of communication, etc., etc. And it's the same currently in the cricket coaching world, right?
Exactly, and that's what I'm seeing. So I'll give an example of how we started online fitness coaching and personal training, because when I was doing personal training, PT, back in the dark ages now, it seems like a long time ago.
Same thought.
Exactly. We're old now. We're getting old. But what happened was that we'd see clients once, twice, 3 times a week if they could afford it and if they were lucky. But they're doing well in the sessions, but progress was slow. It was stagnant sometimes, or sometimes it went backwards. And they think, oh, they're working with a trainer, surely they're going to get results. What we do know from personal training and coaching over the last 20 plus years is that it's not the work in the gym that gets results. It's the other 180 hours plus in the week that gets results. So we've always had the issue of solving and communicating and holding people accountable for these other 180 hours. But then welcome software, training software, all this wonderful technology came to hand. So we started to implement this. So I didn't go into online coaching because I wanted to go into online coaching. I went to online coaching because I saw it as a means to solve this solution and get our clients better results and deliver a better service. That is the most important thing. So when we implemented this software, we're then giving clients not just their training sessions in person once, twice, 3 times a week, but we were giving them nutrition habits that they had to follow. I was messaging in daily to keep them on track and keep them accountable to drinking more water, walking more, maybe going for some yoga sessions, whatever it was, right? I kept them accountable for a big overview of a plan to get the results. So they were getting results faster, but it wasn't taking me that much time to do it either. It was just the same sort of interaction we had, but there was the accountability factor and a working towards a plan as opposed to this ad hoc coming in, seeing how they're feeling type of thing. Now, into cricket coaching. All the coaching I've done so far, the expectations when people come and see us are, I'm going to work with you for an hour. Cool. It's not just an hour though. We're going to work with you until the next session, the next session, the next session, because we know that if you come and work with us for an hour, great, you'll leave the session feeling better. But cricket technique is all about good habits. And you don't develop habits unless you practice them, and you don't practice them unless you're held accountable to doing it.
Kind of makes me think of like going to see a physio or a chiropractor, doesn't it? You see them once, they crack your back, and then you go, right, cool, I'll see you next week, and you walk out feeling better, and then by the time you get back there next week, it's all come back because you don't maintain in the middle, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right here. So let's take cricket coaching. Let's take a batting session. Okay, if I'm working with a batsman, what happens normally? They come to us, we see a few flaws maybe in technique, we see improve their stance, work on a specific shot they want to improve on, great. But then they may not practice that until they come and see me again the week after or the week after that. Maybe there's sometimes a month in between everything sometimes it used to be. But what we're doing now is when we're delivering our coaching services with the online coaching, is that we're holding accountable to do drills they can do at home. Also, the idea of doing strength and conditioning work as well, because a lot of time their technique is flawed because they can't get their body in the right position. Therefore, we have to give them a load of drills to work on their own before the next session so we can actually do some of the work to groove this new pattern, this new movement pattern. So again, let's talk batsmen. A lot of them have their front shoulder closed off. Now, I'm left-handed, and a lot of them have their throwing arm, the dominant arm, closed off, which means they struggle to get in position to turn the neck, which means they're always tipping to the offside. So we've got to work on some mobility stuff in between to help them improve that position so it feels more natural next time they come and do it and they don't tip over. Or we're seeing some balance issues. So we're testing for balance. Now, balance isn't about standing on one leg and keeping your eyes open and juggling the balls or whatever. It's not that. There's another way to test balance, and we'll do a separate podcast about that. But to train balance and improve balance, you've got to work balance-specific drills that work on the vestibular system, the inner ear. So we do that with them in between the next session because they haven't got their balance at the point of contact right. Because it's not a technical thing. It's a personal issue that's going on in their inner ear. That's the easiest and simplest way to describe it. So for us, we believe that online coaching is the future of cricket coaching, not because everyone should go online. No, it's about this hybrid solution. It's about this hybrid solution where when we work with clients, we work with them in person, then we give them homework until the next session or the next session. Or ideally, we have a 12-week plan in place where they can go from point A to point B, and it's a 12-week intensive work we're doing with them, where it could be a couple of in-person sessions, or it could be a mixture of mostly online only. But the point is, as coaches, we got to think differently how we deliver our services, because the one-on-one in-person model isn't going away. However, there's a better way to deliver it to hold people accountable to help them get better results faster and think about a more long-term project and solution. How's that for you?
That was great. You went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with balance and vestibular training, but all good. What would you say are some of the benefits then of online? Well, actually, more specifically, let's talk hybrid training then.
So benefits of hybrid training is we're doing more. We're doing way more, and I'm seeing development and can progress and communicate and have a better relationship with that athlete. So sometimes you just see it once. I mean, you have this relationship, might be once a week, but when you're working with somebody and you can communicate with them every single day and hold them accountable to do things every single day, there's a better relationship being built. There's that more trust built between the athlete and coach. And coaching is always about being a 50-50 partnership. But if you're messaging back and forth, saying, hey, you're doing well here, and encouraging them well in this communication, there's the athlete development. But the athletes have got a specific program they're working with, and they're held accountable to it. That's the biggest thing, is that we're working specifically towards a goal, because a lot of people, it's not from lack of wanting to do something, it's the lack of implementation, right? So again, if we are trying to improve, and I'm using batsmen just as a simple example right now. If we want to improve a batsman to become a better player, and they want to improve their sweep, their pull shot, whatever they want to do, but they haven't got the basics of their head and balance in place, well, we've got to focus on that. So if we're just working on that in session by session by session, progress is going to be slow. So what we're seeing with this hybrid approach, it's a faster way to get the results they want. And that's what it's all about. They've got to put the hard work in. You can't outdo hard work. You've got to put the hard work in, but doing the right work. But the idea is to progress you faster. So if we're just doing one session today, one session next week, the week after, that's 3 weeks gone. Or what if we could fast track that? We'll go, right, we've seen this issue here today. This week, you're going to practice these drills to get you better and start working by this Saturday. And then if you get this right by next week.
Drill. It might not be a technique problem. It might be a mobility problem that they actually need to work on. Yeah.
Exactly. So by that next week, we can progress it and move it forward. So it's moving the needle forward, right, at a faster pace. That's one of the key benefits here. But there's communication side of things, and working with an athlete day after day. So there's lots of benefits. Obviously, cost as well, potentially, because you're not paying for example, my time.
Better cost to benefit ratio, isn't it, obviously, than just doing one-to-one?
Yeah. Exactly. And also flexibility. So, flexibility in terms of when they can train on their own, when they can do things. What about having a plan to go to their net session with their clubs with specific things they have to work on? And then they feed back some video footage from that net session. I say, hey, well done. Or, hey, think about this, need to work on this. So it's constant improvement and feedback time and time again. It's just a different approach and a mindset to cricket coaching. I think that's the most important thing here. We're trying to change how we adapt it and how we approach it. And I think, like we've done in fitness and personal training, we're going to do the same with cricket coaching, and that's why we do it. And then guess what? Like I said, this online coaching aspect, or this complete cricket coaching aspect we talk about, what if we can combine cricket coaching with S&C with nutrition, right? You're putting the 3 pillars together there, right? And then working on mindset stuff at the same time. So it becomes this pro-level service, probably even better than what the pros get right now, if I'm being completely honest, right? Don't hate me, S&Cs out there, but if it's S&C doing S&C, cricket coaches aren't thinking about S&C and putting the whole spectrum together. So it's just a different approach and understanding, and we're going to talk more about this in the coming weeks and how there's a different way of doing things. I think a more forward thinking, maybe even the future of cricket coaching, I think.
Before we wrap up, any challenges associated with online cricket coaching, do you think?
Technology. Not everyone's as technologically advanced in doing things. And also it takes a little bit of getting used to and helping set up a video camera to record some of the techniques that we want to see. I think that's the hardest thing is understanding this and just getting over the first week or two in setting things up and getting used to a different system, a different way of thinking, I think. And also, sometimes some people just prefer working in person. And that's cool, we get that. But I think those people can still work in person, but they can do the online stuff too to fast track their progress. So different ways, different things, different people prefer different things, but it's the hybrid option of cricket coaching we're talking about here, combining online with in person, I think gets people the fastest results.
There we go. Thank you very much. That is online cricket coaching, the benefits, the challenges, and our hybrid solution. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you would like our free training plan, then go to cricketmatters.com/train.